about making something that's useful for places like Ethiopia and places like Senegal and so forth. And we're almost there. I'd say there's probably another 6 to 9 months of really hardcore building, and then we'll be in a very strong position for strong use and utility in the developing world. And that's what I wake up for.
Hi crypto fans, welcome to CCS Cryptocurrency State. My name is Santiago, I'm a web developer and investor, and in today's video I'm going to review Cardano and all the news related to the Africa expansion. I will go in depth on news and Charles interviews on the last days to get the clear picture of this Africa expansion that Cardano is planning and executing right now. So if you are a Cardano fan, you need to watch this video until the end. Before we begin, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to get the notifications. Subscribing is free and helps me a lot, so please do it. And I am also posting exclusive trade alerts on Twitter, so show me at CryptoCState. And leave me a comment on the video. What do you think about Cardano? It will overtake Ethereum on the long term. Are you holding Cardano right now? What are your thoughts on that? And please leave me some comments also regarding any talk review or coin review that you want me to do. I will consider all your opinions for further videos. Without anything else, let's go do it. Hey guys, well, first piece of information, Ethiopia to be official in April as deal receives important signature. The deal with the government of Ethiopia just needs to be formally signed by the Minister for Cardano to succeed in the world's largest blockchain deployment. With any luck, the Africa Special should take place before the end of April. It was announced that they are in the final stage of a government contract in Ethiopia to bring several million users into Cardano blockchain. There are more plans on Africa for Cardano. In addition, Hoskinson also commented on further strategy for Africa. AOG will now also start looking at Ethiopian universities to see which one will set up a lab at. In addition, he said the focus is not just on Ethiopia, but on the entire continent. AOG is aimed to teach at least 2 or 3 classes a year across Africa to train developers. And to accomplish all this, EOG wants to use a partner-driven process. Charles Hoskinson, as CEO of AOG, will power in $10 to $20 million dollars per year for strategic investments and infrastructure, training, project development, commercial development in a pan-Africa sense, making it the second highest on ENOG budget in 2022. So these all news have been talked yesterday. Let's hear from his mouth.
Africa Special, with any luck, we should be able to do that in April, but we'll see. Things are looking really positive right now. We're chugging away, moving along. I just signed a decision memo to start hiring in Ethiopia. We had a small scale office and we're now turning that to a much larger office. We'll also start looking at Ethiopian universities to see which one we want to put a lab at. But not to be outdone, it's a Pan-African company, not just an Ethiopian company. So we're looking at other African nations, and in particular, Ghana is the next site of our class. However, the class will be Pan-African, meaning that people from all across Africa can apply, join, and learn. We're going to try to teach at least 2 or 3 classes per year throughout Africa to train developers. Now, we won't hire all those developers, but other people will. And my suspicion is that Catalyst will well more than saturate that pipeline with lots of good talent. Now, on the Africa side in particular, we finally got to a point where we can do more than just push through government relations. And as we start closing these foundational government deals, really, we need to start doing a pull model where we build consumer products. We were waiting for both Prism and for Cardano to reach a certain level of maturity, and also Catalyst to reach a certain level of maturity before that made sense. And we also wanted to approach that with a partner-driven process. So we have our relationship with ICE Addis, and we're just going to keep deepening that relationship and keep strengthening it, keep putting more money in, because they have tentacles into 25 different countries in Africa. They've been around for quite a bit of time. But above and beyond that, I think we're probably going to create a line item around the $10 to $20 million per year for strategic investments in infrastructure, training, and project development, commercial development, in a Pan-African sense. So this will be the second largest line item in our budget as we enter 2022.
While you hear him, guys, just from the horse's mouth, we are writing here on this Excel file the quotes or the specific things that Charles Hoskinson say, and we just saw on the article. So we may need 6 to 9 months to create a really hardcore building for utility in the developing world, called in Africa. The government Ethiopia deal already in the final stages. Looking universities on Ethiopia to start a lab. We saw these 2 to 3 classes on a year across Africa to train developers. We have the investment on 2022 for 10 to 20 million dollars on a strategy, continuing growing in Africa. Cardano has offices in Africa and will continue expanding, and they are consolidating the partnership with Aave, that they have tentacles on over 25 countries in Africa. And now I want to go into another interview with Charles Hoskinson 3 days ago from a YouTuber from Germany. They have been talking about a lot of things, and I will extract the important parts of that. I will just show you a couple of things on that interview, and we will continue creating this list of all the expansion that is happening in Africa. Let's go see it.
The things that we do in Africa usually are a 3 to 7 year time horizon per project, and they're usually a public-private partnership. However, when you pull it off, you bring 5 million people, 10 million people, 20 million people, which is probably larger than the entire active user base of Ethereum at the moment for one deal. So we have a long horizon. That's why we tend not to care about the ups and the downs of the daily stuff. And we say, okay, let's build something that when we look back 10 years, 20 years, we say it made a difference. It was very meaningful and actually brought real purpose to cryptocurrencies. And then people ask, well, what's the value in that? There's $5.4 trillion of liquid wealth just in Africa alone, where it's there and it just can't be accessed by the global markets. From human capital to real estate to natural resources to companies that are very valuable, but they have no liquidity because there's no stock markets and they can't IPO. There's so many things there that if only they could touch the global markets, they would enrich all of our lives, including people who possess those things. And that's the point of these systems. So that's what we're doing. That's where we're at, and we love the challenge. We have offices in Africa. We have offices all over the world, and people wake up every day with a lot of passion and vigor. And it's good to see that we can kind of play in all 3 ponds. We do things to encourage Ethereum Depts to come over. We do some things to bring normal developers in. We obviously do the commercial conversations about becoming multi-chain and bringing in popular DeFi platforms. And then we also, of course, are trying to bring in new customers. And I think some combination of all of that is going to be the key to the continuing success of Cardano.
So adding value to our list, just like we hear, each government deal can bring 5, 10 or 20 million people into Cardano blockchain. They compare that with the active users of Ethereum. So this is huge. Each of these deals that Cardano is building on Africa, on each country, it will be huge for the future of Cardano. And there's no any other project of the big ones which have their vision of that continent. 9, there is $5.5 trillion of liquid wealth just in Africa that cannot get into global markets. So this is an enormous amount of money which is not exploded. And that's one of the targets for Cardano on this one. And then they are doing movements to get Ethereum Dapps to Cardano. You should hear Charles saying that. So that's why they can convert Ethereum tokens into Cardano tokens natively. And they are also doing movements to get DeFi products into Cardano. Let's hear some another new stuff.
The rate of people coming online, if you look at the demographics of the governments, so it used to be all the leaders were in their 70s to 80s, and they were kind of leftovers from bad eras. Now they're younger, they're in their 40s and 50s, they're Western educated, and the demographics, like 70% of Ethiopia is at or under the age of 30. So very, very, very young. And they're digital natives. They have cell phones. When you retire your iPhone, it ends up in Africa within a few years. So the infrastructure is finally there, and we believe that internet connectivity will cover more than 90% of the totality of the population of the continent of Africa by the end of 2030. And all the social systems are changing because of globalization. And it's being done by, in many cases, ministers who are very well educated. Like in Ethiopia, for example, the prime minister is a cryptographer. He's the only world leader at the moment who could read my papers. And we're seeing that in Africa. And it kind of reminds me like an early Singapore or an early China. And so you never go to where the puck is, you go to where the puck will be. You go to where the world is going to be in 10 years or 15 years. And so I think we're in the right place in the right time from demographic, economic progress. And also China agrees. They put over $1 trillion of investment into Africa. And actually most pre-COVID of the African economies were growing at 10 to 15% per year. Their GDPs were just skyrocketing, and they're in desperate need of new systems, which are coming. So my belief is if we can get in early, all of those countries can run on Cardano or a blockchain, and those are now 1 billion new customers that as they grow in wealth, they grow in a new economy. And what's beautiful is it actually accomplishes what I wanted to seek in America and in the European Union, other places, because greed will compel modernization of America and the European Union, because they'll say, we want money, we want to interface with these billion new customers. We should probably blockchain ourselves and become interoperable with those standards and so forth. The other thing is the governments are willing to work with you. They're willing to change laws. They're willing to modernize laws. They're willing to actually be proactive. You know, the United States, every conversation is what do we do with the SEC and FinCEN and the Treasury Department? Is this, and this? And it's so cumbersome. And you hire $500 an hour lawyers and they tell you it depends after you pay them $100,000. You don't get that in Africa. You know, there's still a lot of bureaucracy and there's still some frustrations and nepotism and corruption and these types of things. But let's be honest here, there's probably more nepotism and corruption in the cryptocurrency space than there is in Africa. And that's what we're really going to start aggressively pushing in 2022. So we have to do that through partners. And we've built them like ISADIS in 25 different countries. We're starting to go with a pan-continental approach. So we're looking in Ghana, we're looking at Rwanda, Uganda, in addition to just Ethiopia. We'll also expand to Kenya and Nigeria. And then there's just a question of what is the killer consumer applications to build. And we're thinking perhaps it's the Kiva model with peer-to-peer lending, but it also could be stable coins. And we've actually even had discussions with leaders of Africa about Pan-African currencies. There's been some discussion about creating like a Pan-African euro, you know, that kind of a thing, like a transnational currency. Kagame in Rwanda is a huge fan of that. So there's a lot of pull model potential there. And it really just depends on what we think is going to have the greatest impact. Obviously, there's still a huge ag tech component to the Africa portfolio, but financial services can be tremendously profitable because the margins are so good. So in 2022, that's where we're going to be conducting those experiments. And I think some of our baseline infrastructure, like Prism, our identity system, will be mature enough at that point. We're also looking at how do you get crypto offline and off-chain. So we have a whole lab at University of Wyoming that does that. And we're thinking, how do you build chips where you can do offline, off-chain transactions, where you just tap them together and it can move a private key from one enclave to another, and you get a proof of secure erasure. But it is really a bare problem. And it did require a lot of infrastructure and resources. And that's one of our fastest areas of scaling. I think we're probably going to add between 30 to 50 new hires for our company just for our Africa strategy this year. And actually, we were going to exercise last year a large growth in Africa, but pandemic happened. And it was super difficult because I can't travel, our people can't travel. And a lot of these countries, all the money dried up. And we said, okay, just wait a little bit. It's not going anywhere. Let the pandemic recede, and then we can go through. And actually, there's a lot of opportunities because of the pandemic.
Well, guys, you heard Charles Hoskinson on that interview, and doing a summary of all that. They have been responding the question, why Africa? That's what the YouTuber asked him. And from what we hear, we can say that the demographic of government leaders are young people over 40 and 50s and well educated. 70% of Ethiopians are under the age of 30. The Africa of 2020 is not the same of the 80s, 90s, or early 2000s. Now everybody has a smartphone, technology is all around. So he speaks of the right timing of the strategy that Cardano is doing over the expansion in Africa. It will not be the same 10 or 20 years ago, and they are hitting that this is the moment to do this expansion. Ministers are very well educated. Ethiopia Prime Minister is a cryptographer, so we have here signs of the highly educated governments around Africa. They mention also that China put $1 trillion of investment on Africa before COVID. Africa's economies pre-COVID had been growing 10 to 15% per year, which is a lot. And governments are willing to work with Cardano with not such problems like in US, like with the SEC and all the problems that we have for regulations. Financial projects in Africa will work incredibly on Cardano, and they will be hiring 20 to 50 new people on Cardano company dedicated to the Africa strategy this year. So this is all the news from the last weeks regarding the Africa expansion. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will continue working for more details on how Cardano evolves over the time. So if you are interested on that, please like the video, subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get the notifications. And also join me on Twitter at CryptoSeaState. And if you didn't saw my other Cardano videos, please check them. And I see you in the next video. Thank you.